when you're playing this game and the professional businesses are building up, and you have an opportunity to go downtown and go to school, does that influence what degree you purchase or you go for?
I think it depends on where other people are. I mean, if everybody has a profession, then it's probably not. But if everything's wide open, it might influence you.
Because it influences me because, like, I'm going downtown to get a law degree because I know there's a lot of law issues in these cards. But the psychology profession has accumulated a lot of money during the course of the game. I'm going to get my psychology degree because
you know what everybody's paid into.
Right.
Well,
so,
and that's what's nice is that you can get more than one degree.
Right.
It doesn't have to be you're this and you're this, and then you can only collect on the one.
Right.
So, you can monopolize all the degrees.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So and that's another unique wrinkle we put. So if nobody else has a degree and you have yours first and you land on that property, you can have a monopoly in that field. But that also encourages other players to get down there.
And that's what Jill did today. And it was, at first I thought, oh, no big deal, you know, if I get around the board, I'll just buy it first. But you can't. You only buy one. You can't buy the whole set. And so it does make a big difference.
But the deals were huge. So when you couldn't afford to buy your 4 places of business, and somebody would front you the cash without me fronting you the cash.
Well,
it's fun.
You guys didn't have opportunity to really get involved with the investments. Now that could be really tricky, you know.
We didn't really hit those two.
Yeah, that's also a different wrinkle. There you come, it's a lot of money in there. Like we have $200,000 on the table at the end of the game. Because I didn't draw the cash in. I mean, if you had drawn the cash in and you had $618,000, all of a sudden you're at $718,000. And you and I neck and neck. I mean, that's $4,000 or $5,000 difference. So.
Well, and that's learning to a little bit the spots on the board and what they mean.
Right.
Because when you started buying up those businesses, it didn't mean anything to me until all of a sudden it was like, oh wait, Joe owns all of this row, and that means he gets a bonus for that. And it was like, oh wait,
or
I'm
the
even thinking about
strategy
that.
of stopping early enough. To pick them up.
Yeah,
I missed that.
See, that's one thing that really, and I promised myself this time I was not going to really shout out advice, but I thought you knew if you would have got those houses in the first 2 rows, not only would you have gotten that bonus, you would have had, I mean, that whole side of town is monopolized by you, that board, I mean, that row.
And I didn't.
And you're thinking, well, I roll the dice and I go as far as I can and get around and get paid again.
You learn that after the first game.
No, it's interesting. No, well, good. I think, and like I said, nobody was a drug dealer because I think it was too competitive. Nobody wanted to take that chance. They didn't want to gamble on going to jail or getting a
I don't think
bus.
anybody landed it.
Well, people passed it up. They passed
so you have the
opportunities.
opportunity. That's right. You have the opportunity.
But I don't think for us it's really clear how you can make the drug piece pay off.
Yeah. Well, it pays off. So for example, if you land on Lenny and you pay $1,000 for marijuana, so you get the marijuana, you get the Lenny card, and then if you come here and you land on this Lenny,
you would pick
you
it
get
up again.
$2,000 back and opportunity to buy more drugs. So every time you land on it, you get double what you paid for it. So I think it's like...
And so we were just skipping that. When we were going by, we were picking things that we were like, oh, let's buy a house or let's pick up a card.
But see, that's also indicative of where you guys have come from. I mean, you guys are not used to that type of environment, that type of setting. And also, how many drug bust cards were drawn?
Oh, yeah, there were a lot.
It was a ton.
Because I thought about it at the one point I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I didn't know if they were part of the life cards because I was like, none of them have really come up in mine. And if I do pick it up, then you're screwed.
Yeah. It's bad news.
It's a big dump.
And you can see how competitive the game is. You don't want to lose a turn and miss an opportunity to buy a property or, like for example, you two were like right by each other trying to race to get to that next. And then it's like, okay, this game on. And so In fact, you guys were down here at the same time.
Yep.
So you guys are like really competing to get something. I gave up on the degrees. I was like, okay, I'm done. I mean, you drew like 5 different honorary degrees.
I know.
I'm like, I'm done.
I think it would have been interesting to see somebody play that drug route.
Well, I've done it before in the last game, and it ended up. So what happens if you buy all 4 drug dealers, you get a $100,000 bonus. So there's a reward, but do you want to take the risk?
But do you want to take the risk, right?
Because there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of police cars in that day.
But something to think about when you have no money is you do that and you play the, well, okay, I'll put in 1,000 and I'll get double my money and double my money until you can actually put some money away, and then you say, okay, I'm done with it.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
But it's still a gamble. I mean, because in the cars, I know there are like
there's
40 or 50 police cards.
I saw a lot of them.
Yeah, and so, but if you're not focused on it, you don't realize that drug bust. I mean, it came up with these guys, what, 4 times?
Yep.
I drew a couple, you guys drew a few, but your focus was elsewhere, so you didn't really pay attention
they were
to
like
it. You know, so.
Neutral.
But 2 hours is a pretty good, I mean, particularly if you had some, you know, you guys had a learning curve. You know, but you get people that actually know what they're doing and really intent on being aggressive. I mean, this game go by an hour and a half. You know, so it's I'm glad you played it. I know I've been talking about it to Cheryl for like a year.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah,
since I played it.
I can't wait to play with my family. I think it's going to be fun.
We'll recommend it, and then, you know, if you don't mind, tell everybody. You know, the more the merrier. And you can let Roger know that it's not a 6-hour game anymore.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, because that's scary to him.
Well, that first game we played, I mean, the rules were so different. And it took about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. We was there for 4.5 hours.
You want it easy enough that people can catch up.
Yeah.
Or if you're really losing,
yeah.
you're not going to have to hang out for another 4 hours of losing.
Yeah.
Instead, it's going to end soon. You can play the next game.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened with Cheryl was really, I was watching because I'm trying to study people's reactions to my game, is that there was a time where you were really just down. I mean, you hit a low and you're like, oh man. Then all of a sudden you made a game board and you got $50,000 and bam, you was right back in the mix. So you went down here and it came back up again. And after you lost your house early on and I pointed it out, you was like, ah. But then you bounced back, you know, from that. So it's a lot of ups and downs. These two were trying to get the NFL, NBA cards, so they had a strategy.
They had 2 of them. That's amazing.
So my strategy was a small business. After I made the deal with you, and I saw
how you made that deal with me, but I didn't understand it. If I would have understood that my selling that to you was going to complete your whole thing, I probably wouldn't have done it.
But you got a bonus. You got all the houses.
Did.
You got a bonus. So I didn't take advantage of you.
It was a win-win. But it was just, you know, I was very leery. That's why I said no at first. But if I would have actually understood why, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Well, you got a bonus, and that helped you. That gave you buying power.
It did.
And if you would have made that deal, because you had no money.
No, I didn't. I had no. And well, when you saved me at the medical home.
Yeah. It's I know. No, but it's I really like it. It's fun.
It is fun.
Have you heard anything? Just throw quiet. What do you think about it?
I like the negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You negotiate. You don't deal with anybody.
Yeah, with the house, your house.
No, you said.
And then you asked for mine and Carol's help for something else.
Oh,
I negotiated.
Yeah.
We negotiated.
Yeah, and I was gonna be a drug dealer because I when you got your second honorary degree card, like in the first 10 minutes, I was gonna hit a quick drug run, get about $20,000-$30,000 up, and then dismiss drugs. But in order to get them to support me in my deal, I had to promise I would never do drugs.
Right.
So they kind of killed that idea. Because I've done that before. I've hit the drug dealers, made about $15,000, $20,000, and got out before I got put in jail. And that kind of gave me a little bit more buying power. So I was going to take that chance. But this straight and narrow here.
Hey.
Drug dealer.
Hey, just looking out for you. You're welcome.